Barcelona had many great teams in its history. Like one of them was Johan Cruyff's team back in 1990 through 1994, also Louis van Gaal between 1997 through 2000, Frank Rijkaard between 2003 and 2006. All of those different teams had a mix of academy players and also great world-class players. Barcelona truly became special though at the start of 2008, and that is by showing that they can succeed with many academy players and that they were able to compete with a few dashes of stars here and there that Barcelona did buy. So back in that 2008 team, we had Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Gerard Piqué, Messi, Pedro, etc. And that was like our staple, right? So that was our statement. It was showing to the world that Barcelona is a special team because they can compete at the highest level by using their academy players. But then for some reason, Barcelona went against that. And then after Guardiola's era at Barcelona, in some capacity, they stepped away from that and they started buying a lot of players from the market. And unfortunately, it did not lead to a lot of success. Like, yes, Barcelona won a few league titles. Maybe they won one Champions League here and there, but many academy players were leaving. And at the same time, Barcelona were not experiencing the exact same amount of success. And I'm like, so slowly but surely, Barcelona were becoming a team that just bought a lot of individual high talented players, where Barcelona did not show that they had the capacity that they can play as a team, which led to very poor results. But now today, we have an opportunity to build something special by having a lot of our academy players together, while at the same time buying some world-class players here and there to cover up our weak spots. And what's crazy is that whether Barcelona buy world-class players or not, they can still compete because of the amount of academy players they have in their squad currently, which is what we are seeing today. Barcelona can compete, but to get into the world-class level, of course, is going to be taking some work, and I hope that Deco prioritizes these core group of players in order for us to succeed and have a strong foundation, which is going to lead me to the next conversation. I want to talk about the 5 to 7 players that I believe should be the main core of this club, starting with Cubarsi. Cubarsi is a 17-year-old center back, and the reason why he has gotten so many chances as of late is because Inigo Martinez got injured, Marcos Alonso also got injured, Andreas Christensen moved away from the center back position and into the pivot position, and that allowed for Cubarsi to see way more chances and to be paired with Araújo. And from the very beginning, when Cubarsi came in, he adapted to the first team so well. It seems like right now that Cubarsi has been playing at Barcelona for like 10 years. The way that he picks those passes from the back line, the speed of the ball, that he displays his composure, the defensive duels. As a matter of fact, there's only like 4 other different defenders out there in La Liga that are better than him when it comes to defensive duels. And keep in mind, Cubarsi is 17 years old. Cubarsi is showing that he has everything on what it takes to succeed at Barcelona. Even the leadership. I talked about this before. Like, he consolidated Rafinha after Rafinha missed like 2 chances. He went up to him and he's like, don't worry, it's going to be okay. You got this. We still have another 45 minutes left. And so Cubarsi has to be in that core group of players because he is one for the future. The next player that I do want to talk about is Araujo. Araujo is 24 years old, very much on the young side. I think that we all have to remember that Araujo is still very young in the world of football. Like, for example, Van Dijk, a player that was once considered as one of the best center backs in the world, if not the best center back in the world, did not peak or did not come really into the game until 27, 28 years old. 4 years more than where Araujo is at today. So can you imagine what Araujo could be like in about 4 years when he's 28 years old? Araujo clearly has a lot to learn, but even until today, he is claimed to be one of the best center backs in the world. On 1v1 defensive duels, he is unbeatable. His speed is unmatchable. If you want to have a high back line, the one player that you can count on for sure, it is Araujo because of his speed, because he can eat up a lot of space behind him. And sometimes he does get converted into a right back, but it is quite clear, right, that he is meant to play in the center back position because that is where he performs at the highest level. Now, he's not the best ball passer. I think that there are so many other center backs in Barcelona that are better than him in terms of passing the ball, like Cubarsi, Koundé, Inigo Martinez, maybe even Marcos Alonso. But he has improved on his passing. He was way worse before. When he first came here, he couldn't even pass the ball to save his life. But now he is getting better. Not at the same level with the center backs that we have today, but still, he is improving. As a matter of fact, he has been improving so much that his attempted passes has also increased. If you look at the difference between the last season and the current season, he makes way more passes now than ever before. Also, I believe that Cubarsi and Araujo is a perfect center back pairing. If we look at the graph here, you can see that they almost cover the whole whole thing. It's a complete center back package. Both of these players take care of each other's weaknesses, and that's very important. You have Cubarsi, who is better than Araujo in passes and also in defensive actions, and then you have Araujo, who is better in carrying the ball and aerial percentage. Moving on towards the next player, and now I do want to speak about Pedri. Pedri is 21 years old. I think that the one thing that we must do is to take care of his fitness, because what is the whole point of projecting his future if he's only going to be getting re-injured? And it's important for Pedri to reach his maximum potential, because I remember when Pedri was 17 years old or 18 years old, he was regarded as one of the best central midfielders in the world, and he was playing with Lionel Messi, but the injuries set him back. And I believe that if he never got those injuries and he was never out for about 4 to 5 months, Pedri today would have been one of the most dominant midfielders in the world, but we don't have that as of now. Currently, he's not 100% and he doesn't give 100% on the pitch. Now, he has been taking some actions, like for example, he has been shifting his diet, his workout, he's trying to gain some mass. So maybe in the state that he is currently in, he's working up to get to that level again. And so maybe it's just a matter of when is it going to happen? When are we going to be seeing the true Pedri back? Because let me tell you, when he is 100% on form and has the elite mentality, he benches anyone in this Barcelona team. Anybody. As a matter of fact, anybody in Man City, anybody in Real Madrid, if Pedri is 110%, but if not, then he himself could get benched. But I believe that we still have a gem in our hands. I would like to believe that next season, he's going to be 100% healthy, starting in the 11 and playing right next to Gavi, which is going to lead us towards the next player, and that is Gavi. Gavi is 19 years old, still extremely young. He won the Golden Boy Award for a reason, and the way that I would basically describe Gavi is it's Mascherano meeting Verratti. He's a mix of those two players. Every time I see Gavi on the pitch, he busts his ass on the field all the time, and sometimes when he's being called to, he can connect on a 1-2, and I love that. On a technical level though, I don't think that he's above Frenkie, Gundogan, or Pedri. It doesn't mean that he's not good technically, it's just that we have very high technical players where Gavi cannot really compete. But overall, if you look at his game, any team needs a player like Gavi's profile. Anybody, whether it's City, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid especially, Inter Milan, Liverpool, any of those teams would want someone like Gavi. Gavi is the future of this club, and I think that you do have two very different teams. You have one with Gavi and one without Gavi. You need him, and I think that Barcelona is very fortunate that he's also committed to the club and he wants to be here long term. And so just like I have said with Pedri, if Gavi is 100% healthy, he has his rhythm, he cannot be benched. Even Xavi Hernandez said at one point this season that he makes it so hard for him to bench Gavi. Like Gavi does everything so well, Xavi can't say like, no, you have to sit down. He can't do that because Gavi just gives too much and it benefits Barcelona too much. So whether you have Hansi Flick in charge, Xavi, Luis Enrique, De Zerbi, Gavi will be called up into the starting 11. Moving on towards the next player, and that is Lamine Yamal, a 16-year-old right winger, where he did make his debut last season. I think he played like one game, and then moving on to the preseason, which was on August 2023, we're like, wait a minute, Lamine Yamal is a great talent, but we have Dembele, we have Rafinha, but little did we know what was going to happen in the future, because Dembele left, Rafinha got injured for a good amount of time, which only left Lamine Yamal as our only right wing option. Maybe yes, we could have used Ferran Torres on the right wing, but still Barcelona needed to call somebody more dangerous, a much more natural right winger. And that's why today Lamine Yamal gets way more game time than he has ever gotten. As a matter of fact, he has more minutes than Rafinha, like double the minutes of Rafinha. And Lamine Yamal is a starter. Lamine Yamal is a 1v1, 1v2 monster. He can beat you whether you put two players in front of him or one player in front of him. His close control and his ability to dribble around a little pocket of spaces is amazing. Like if you need help on trying to go against a low block, Lamine Yamal is your answer. Also his passing, right, to those key passes that he makes into the box, or like his crossing in the air, it's so precise. Like I remember there has been so many times where Gundogan, if only he made that run a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. Same thing with Lewandowski. He made that run a little bit stronger or faster. Those crosses that Lamine Yamal made could have been converted to assists. So he had his bright moments so far this season. He has scored 2 goals against Granada. It was a game where it ended 3-3, and I remember in that match where Barcelona were like struggling so much against Granada that they were always trying to constantly find Lamine Yamal because that was their only outlet. Very similar to how we treated Dembele last year. We just kept passing it to Dembele over and over again because we couldn't find ways to progress the ball. The same thing did happen with Lamine Yamal this season. And so as of now, he has 5 goals and 4 assists in 35 matches. You may say that's a little low for somebody that gets speaked about so highly. Well, here's the thing. Messi scored 1 goal in his first season, and Messi was 2 years older than Lamine Yamal. So you better bet that once we do have a great sporting project, a strong team, a great coach, Lamine Yamal is only going to triple his goals and assists from here. And so because he is such a core player and we want Lamine Yamal for the long run, it's very important to protect him in his early years and not overuse him, because there's a high probability that if we keep using Lamine Yamal in the way that we have been doing in the past 2 or 3 months, he could encounter an injury. It's very much possible. It happened to every player. And so it's important for him to have his minutes managed. So by the time he does enter his 20s, Lamine Yamal will be on fire. Moving on towards the other player, and that is going to be Alejandro Balde. Now, there has been 2 players that has outshined Balde this season, Hector Fort and Cancelo. And I honestly would say that yes, Cancelo has been better than Balde and also maybe Hector Fort. I mean, he hasn't really played a lot in the first team, but still, Hector Fort comes in there and he really showcases why he should be one of the starters in that 11 because of his defensive duels. But here's the thing, Hector Fort is naturally a right back. Cancelo is 30 years old. We don't know how much longer Cancelo is going to be staying at Barcelona. Like literally, I think that in 2 years, Balde will definitely be needed because Hector Fort will eventually go into the right back position eventually. And Cancelo, maybe he might not be here. And Balde will definitely be needed and called up for the left back position. And I do believe that Balde has to improve on his timing and his accuracy when it comes to his passes, because the amount of misplaced passes that he was doing per game was like 4 to 5. And I'm like, dude, can you complete just one cross? One cross is all I'm asking for. That was the reason why Xavi Hernandez was always using Cancelo over Balde, and Balde had to get benched, is because of the crossing accuracy. Cancelo's accuracy in his crossing is insane. It is insane. Now, if we compare Cancelo and Alejandro Balde and what we want Balde to be like, ideally, which is Alphonso Davies, we can get a better picture on where Balde currently stands. We can see that Balde cannot be beaten so far in terms of duel percentage, but in almost everything else, we either have Cancelo stronger than him in a certain area or Alphonso Davies stronger than him in a certain area. Balde has a lot of work to do if he wants to beat Cancelo when it comes to expected assists, even with progressive passes and defensive actions, because Davies and Cancelo are almost the same. This is actually very surprising because it also does seem like Cancelo's overtaking Davies in multiple areas, like the cross percentage, the expected assist, the progressive passes, the defensive actions, also with the duels. The only time I see Davies beating Cancelo is in those top 2 right there, the aerial percentage and the carrying, which makes sense because Davies, when he has the ball and he has to carry the ball, he's a monster. But either way, you can see that Balde has a lot of room to improve, and I think that he is one for the future. If he can take care of any of these areas where Cancelo and Davies are stronger, then you have a great prime Alejandro Balde. And so the last player that I do want to speak about, and I'm not even going to be spending too much time on this because you guys already know why I'm going to be calling Frenkie de Jong into this core group of players, because look, he's a captain for a reason, bro. Like, why do you think Barcelona gave Frenkie the captain armband? He's one of them. He's not the first choice, but he's one of them. That is because they view Frenkie as one of the leaders in the long run. And I look at Frenkie and how he has been playing this season. Obviously, he has not had his best season, and that is because we have been using him in so many different areas, giving him tasks that is not supposed to be given to him. Like, why give Frenkie the pivot position when he is not a true lone pivot? And so, of course, he was going to be struggling this season without Sergio Busquets, but today, I think that it is safe to say that if you pair him with a great pivot, like for example, maybe Christensen, who has been doing a tremendous job, Frenkie really does show his best. His ball carrying ability, protecting the ball, intercepting the ball, pressing the opposition in high areas, all of that is being done so well by Frenkie. And I see him with a lot more energy. Now, I can't wait to see what Frenkie does against Athletic Club, because that is going to be a game where it's going to be demanding so much intensity, so much aggression, and Frenkie has shown that he is always the first one to press the team and to take the ball away immediately. So I do see a very rejuvenated, different Frenkie, somebody that is much more motivated, mainly because there has been so many talks about Frenkie maybe leaving in this summer, and I don't think Frenkie wants that. The fact that he was responding on the pitch after what the media has been saying about Frenkie, we have a player that has the right mentality, and I think that if you keep a player like him at Barcelona, he can be seen as an example for multiple other players out there who are struggling on a mental level. So Frenkie is definitely in my core group of players. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.